to say I am completely pleased with the fall garden here. I actually had some trouble with my summer garden, first with a lot of rain and then with drought, and nothing ever looked really fantastic. I did get some eggplant, but my fall gardens are really outstanding, and I just wanted to brag about it a little bit. I do still have a zinnia here, which of course will be knocked down by the first frost, but I'm leaving it in because I like to leave blooms in for pollinators. There's not a lot of nectar available this time of year, and there still are some bees buzzing around and other moths and things. So I do leave that up as long as possible. It does have powdery mildew, but I don't get too upset about that. But let me show you what else is in here. I did plant green beans along the back, as you can see, and a couple in the front, and that was more to improve the soil with the nitrogen nodules that form on legume plants. And but I am going to be getting some beans, it looks like, before we get a heavy frost. So this is producing beans, and again, this will be knocked back. And I do also have some fava beans which have appeared. I planted those also to improve the soil. And all of these little sprouts here that are all throughout both these beds were mung beans that I scattered. And those are the type of beans, if you're not familiar with them, that you sprout to make bean sprouts, often used in Asian cooking. And I happen to have some in my refrigerator, and they'd been there for over a year, but I thought, oh, I'm gonna scatter these out. I did it in September, so they've been growing about a month. And again, my intention was to make green manure and improve my soil naturally. It's like giving it a pop of nitrogen. Now, these gorgeous big leaf plants back here are collard greens, and they were a little bit affected by some pests, but now that we're getting colder nights, they're really taking off because the pest pressure, of course, goes away. Look at how pretty these collard greens are. And they are so good for soil and compost when you take those leaves and they just kind of rot down. They're great for soups. I don't actually cook with them a lot, but they certainly are a beautiful green you can grow in cooler weather. So those look really nice. My beans look nice. And in front I have garlic, which I pre-sprouted. It's a little hard to see amongst the mung bean sprouts, but there's a whole patch of garlic here. So my garlic and my collard greens will be growing through the winter. Collard greens can handle quite a bit of winter weather. And then over here, this is so pretty. And this bed gets a little less sun. So the mung beans I scattered in here did not sprout quite as much. It's thick in some spots, as you can see. Again, that's going to help improve my soil. And lots of leaves fell in the back. It's right under a maple tree branch. But look at the color of these kale. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're this dark blue green, and I had them covered for the longest time because they were being eaten and having eggs laid on them by the moths. So the moths laid eggs, and their caterpillars would hatch and do quite a bit of damage. Usually worse than this, but this is the kind of damage they would do. They would turn the leaves into lace, but I think it's cold enough now at the end of October that the moths are not laying their eggs anymore. I'm not even sure they're around. But look how pretty these Swiss chard are. And they're also supposed to be cold tolerant. And that one looks either red or orange. I think that's gorgeous. A couple of them did not make it. This one looks, oh, and here's a marigold hanging in there. That will die back in the frost. But here's one that has yellow stalks. So I have, that's probably a red one and a yellow one. And I have a very red one back here. If you can see that, it has very red stalks. And that actually was growing in this bed all year. But again, I have some of the green beans, which will die back. The mung beans will die back. These, I don't remember what I planted. These are either turnips or beets. So I have a few of those sprouting up in this bed. But guys, look at how gorgeous this fall bed looks. And it's funny that my fall garden is my best garden of the year. Also, when the drought came, this is up in the woodland, and a lot of the roots came over here to this nicer soil that would get watered more regularly. And in order to plant all my fall things, I did have to dig out a lot of roots. But I'm just delighted at how things are going. And even when the frost hits, I'm still gonna have some beautiful leafy greens. I'm just crazy about this colorful kale and the colorful Swiss chard, which hopefully will only get bigger and taller. But I just wanted to show you how well things are going up here in the polytunnel bed. And I wanted to mention that if you have a bad season, the next season could be great. So just keep gardening and keep at it. And hopefully all of the beans and legumes I planted in here this fall will help my spring garden. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have some leafy greens that you can enjoy over the winter, and I'll see you next time.